Hello, Chum here, Live in Chum. This video is going to be about, me basically, just where I come from and all that stuff. This is my third video, I believe. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, this is my video about, where I come from and where, leading up to where I'm at now. So anyway, I was born in Sacramento, California. Had a pretty cool childhood. We moved around various places, Rosemont, Rancho Cordova, then Rosemont, and we started out in South Sacramento. That's where I learned how to play baseball and got a really good interest in it, even though I was born into kind of like an Oakland A's family and Raiders. Even though we weren't into football, that's the team I kind of took on. Um, so yeah, childhood was great, and sorry, dog's doing something. Childhood was great, and my dad, owned a fencing contracting business and was a pretty big player in that, and got a lot of, like fenced in prisons, part of Folsom Prison, did like, a bunch of other, prisons. I don't know if I should mention them or not. And just along the highways and stuff, I still see some of his old work still, the highway fences and stuff. They're still rusty, but they're still up there. It's kind of nice to see. And so anyway, we moved around Sacramento. That's where I learned how to play baseball, swim, ride a bike, all that. We were only in Sacramento till I was about 8 years old. So I did all that in that time, and I never had to have swimming lessons. That's maybe another story for another time. I never had to have bike lessons, really. Broke the training wheels off my bike as I was going down the hill, and it was pretty cool because I just wanted to go. That's all I remember. I think I was like 5 or something like that, 6, maybe I was like 5, 4 or 5. I don't know. I know the house I was at, Tetlow Circle, 77 Tetlow Circle, I think. I don't remember the names of them. It's probably wrong. Probably shouldn't say the names anyway. So yeah, we moved to Pollock Pines, California, which is a small town in the mountains in the Sierra Nevada mountain range, kind of near Lake Tahoe, California. If anyone knows where the Rubicon Trail is, that's kind of like the only big city, the last kind of resort where you can get like, gas, Safeway is there, CVS medicine, I guess. The last few bars, there's a few places up there that you can go to, but they're a lot more expensive, but they're really cool places. Might mention Rob's Resort, great place up there on the Crystal Basin. If you go towards the Rubicon, definitely check out Rob's Resort, really cool place. And also, another little unknown secret is Uncle Tom's Cabin. I didn't name it, but it's a really cool place, and anyone that's going up into the Crystal Basin, the Rubicon Trail, definitely look up Uncle Tom's Cabin. It's a cool little watering hole. Anyway, enough about the Crystal Basin. So, I moved to Pollock Pines when I was like 8 or 9 years old. It's around the time my grandfather died, and it was really sad, and there was also a big fire when we moved in. So when we moved in, there was like, we had our stuff packed still, and, we just kind of left it packed in case the fire took the town out. But, yeah, it was a Cleveland fire. It was that fire. But yeah, it turned out okay, and the scorched area is just starting to grow back, like 30 years later now, and so it doesn't look the same still, but that'll probably take 100 years more. But yeah, no, it's a really cool place to grow up. Pollock Pines, I loved it. Did a lot of, I learned caught my first fish there. I learned how to fish. Learned how to shoot guns, up there. I learned a lot of really cool stuff, just walking out in the middle of the woods and just not being afraid to walk in the middle of the woods if your flashlight goes out, stuff like that. We were younger teenage, years. We would, go camping and stuff and do little small survival trips and stuff like that. But yeah, so school was going great up there. I loved school. Small town schools are pretty awesome. They're pretty kind of not, I guess intimate might be the right word for it. Um, Made a lot of really cool friends. I loved everyone that I went to school with. There wasn't many people that I disliked. Even the bullies, kind of on the play yard or whatever you call it, was they're all my friends. Kind of, we'd maybe slap each other around a little bit and then end up being friends anyway. And I just didn't like anyone fighting. You know what I mean? I wanted to keep like a really cool playground, I guess you could say, and just be, the nice dude, nice as I could, I guess. Um, so yeah, junior high went really awesome. Loved that school up there in Pollock Pines. Sierra Ridge Middle School. My dad was a pretty good influence on one of the schools up there, and well, not really an influence on the schools. He just donated, the fence to part of the school, the new school, Immigrant Trail, that was across the street from the school I went to. And not too long after I was in seventh grade, my dad passed away from a brain aneurysm, which it's another story I can go really deep into on another time. But yeah, he ended up passing away. I was 13 years old, and that was kind of like a big point in my life, losing my dad. But anyway, after my dad died, we stayed in the house that we had. The business, of course, went under and stuff. And through high school, when I started high school, it was really fun. I could say high school was really fun. I may have done some really stupid things, and didn't really get caught doing stupid things, which kind of counts. It's a really good thing. But I can go into that more. You know what I mean? On another video. But yeah, high school was really cool. We went to a lot of concerts. My brother would pick me up, sometimes go to a Tool concert or something, or Korn, or White Zombie, or Pantera. I went to Ozfest once, another story I brought up probably before in the last video, I'm not sure. Yeah, I went to Ozfest 2000, and that's a whole nother story. Yeah, high school was great. Had a great time. Went into homeschool, had even more fun after that, but just because I knew I could do all the work, and it was just kind of sitting there waiting for work. And I also went to a high school that was kind of like everyone left before lunch, and I couldn't do that anymore. I did that for about 3 months, and I'm like, nah, I actually have to do something. I could stay at home, do all the work, and have a whole almost month free, not do anything really, and just hang out and grow and do all the stuff that I did back then. I grew, I started smoking cannabis when I was like younger and 10 years old ish, and so I grew quite a bit throughout the years, and another story for another time, I guess. But yeah, went through high school. High school was great. Met a lot of really cool people. Really stayed in touch with a lot of really good friends still to this day, even though I kind of fell off, like everyone did during COVID. Everything kind of just like everyone kind of just stayed to their own little bubble, and I wasn't any different. So I guess might as well just bring us up to COVID. COVID kind of sucked, like everyone else. My kids, their schooling kind of got affected a little bit, because there was a fire and then COVID, and it was just like a mess. There's a fire a year prior to COVID for us up here in the mountains, and which took them out of school for quite a while, and then COVID. Yeah, so it just like certain years of my kids growing up, of course, it's the years I was there, and I thought it was really cool to go to school, which was, the junior high. And so, they went through junior high, kinda, mostly at home, which kind of sucks because it was a really cool school to go to. Anyway, that happened, COVID happened, all that, made it through all that stuff. Halfway through, I guess almost halfway through, say 2022, I lost my brother to a fentanyl overdose. I have a whole story I can go in on about my brother that'll probably take 3 videos. He was a little troubled, smart dude, had a lot going for him, but I love him and I miss him a lot, and I wish that never happened, but life has to go on, right? Anyway, so up to this point right now, I'm living in Rockland, California, and now I'm divorced after about 20 years of a full relationship, 17 years married, almost 18 years we made it. That had its problems. I miss her a lot, but that's where I'm at now, and I have I'm in this big house, alone with my little dog, and I'm planning out my future, what's left of it. I'm 43 years old. I don't know if I said that. And so I'm 43 years old. I'm planning out my future right now and rebuilding credit right now, and it's investing into the stock market with my own money right now. Well, alimony, but I have to start over, so it's like I have to restart those numbers back over. And fortunately, my relationship I was in, she had a big windfall, and we got really very, very lucky. No one, less than 1% of the people. It's like we got struck by lightning 5 times in a row. That's how lucky we got. It wasn't anything that we did necessarily. It's just she had, she had money she didn't know about. So anyway, so I'm doing pretty good, for a while, and I'm going to go back to school, go back to work, do all that stuff. I'm going to be in the medical field. Not sure if I'll reveal what I'm doing yet, but I'm going to go back into the medical field and make people feel good again, and make that money and fund my stock addiction now that I got into it with my own hands without having just a financial guy, because I have one still, but that he does all the investing with the big stuff, but I get to keep this little account that I get to play with. And then I got my other retirement one. We'll go more into depth with the stock video, but I'm loving it so far. It's really fun. If you gamble at a casino, don't try that. The best casino to gamble at is the stock market, in my opinion. It's a little bit funner. It gets you up in the morning and it gets your blood flowing and doing stuff, for the most part. I might get sick of it and drop off and stop waking up at 6 a.m. every morning to for the open during the week. It's been making my weekends really long. This weekend's been especially excruciating. Today, Memorial Day, or not Memorial Day, I'm sorry. Today is Labor Day. So yeah, it's even Happy Labor Day, everyone, by the way. I can't really celebrate it because I don't work. I'm sorry. I will be celebrating it next year. Yeah, I am active. I like to get up and I do, workouts, and I do all that stuff. I might be, talking while I'm on my bike or something. Right now I'm in my chair up in my bedroom. But yeah, I like to get up and do stuff. Even though I don't work, I like to be active because I used to be a really big person. So I could actually scoot back, to 2012. I went way too far. I'm sorry, everyone. But we could scoot back to 2012, and I could just mention, I'll throw another video out there with my whole story, but we could just mention in 2014, not 2012, June 12th, 2014, I got gastric surgery and had a lot of complications with it right after it. that wasn't really it wasn't the doctor's fault at all. It was just something that happened, to me, and just it's less than 1%. But I made it out of it, and I used to weigh 486 pounds, and now I weigh about 200. My lowest I got 153, somewhere around there. I think it was 153 was my lowest, or it was 150.8. But I was like, I wasn't feeling too good at that weight, and then I did, a couple marathons after that. But I mean, I could go into that later. But yeah, I've kept it off, and that's why I like to be so active in the mornings. Every morning when I get up, I try to do something, at least go get some dang sun and smoke a joint. I'm sitting in the sun, drinking my coffee. I love coffee, love it. Tea, coffee, stuff like that. I probably have too much sugar with my coffee, but I'm working on that. There's a lot of things I like, but there's even more things I dislike. I'm very picky since I had that surgery years ago. My stomach took a beating, and so yeah, it's the only drawback from that. But I would do it again if I had to. But anyway, yeah, that's me. 43-year-old divorcee. Not really looking for a relationship, if that's what anyone's thinking here. Like to go have fun. I like to do stuff, definitely go see movies. I hate doing stuff by myself, so I'm open to that, but I'm not going to find anyone on here. I promise you that. I don't know. So yeah, it's pretty fresh. It happened in April, so yeah, it's only August. I can give myself a little more time, right? Yeah. So, yeah, not looking for anything like that, but, it's part of my life, you know what I mean? And if this is a life video about me, that is one of the speed bumps. I do have a lot of sayings. Some people that see this will roll their eyes probably, but, my life hit a speed bump, and I'm trying not to make it into a mountain. So that is one of my speed bumps, though. It's a pretty big one. I thought it was a mountain for a second. I thought that life speed bump almost turned into a mountain for me for a second there. It was just because I was afraid, I think, and because it's just new to me. I've never had, my only relationship ended, 20 years after it started, and so it's just a huge shock, and but it doesn't last long for me. Fortunately for me, I have a pretty good resilience in the mind. I don't let things get to me for too long. I have like an 8-day, always give yourself a week no matter what. I have an 8-day minimum that, the minimum you can give yourself, you have to give yourself 8 days. When it's something serious. You stub your toe, don't wait 8 days, just get over it. But yeah, serious things, it's like the 8 months for, things that are pretty dang serious, 8 years for, really dang serious stuff, and to lifetime. 8 years to lifetime is a minimum, and that's for someone like dying or something, you know what I mean? And I've said that when my dad died, they brought me into a counselor, and they asked me, hey, how long do you think it's going to be? I was 13 years old. They're expecting a kid answer, how long do you think it's going to be, till it takes you to get over, your dad passing? And I looked at him like he was crazy. I was like, what? And I almost started crying, really. But I looked at him like he was crazy. I said, if you want me to throw a number, I said 10 years in my little 13-year-old life. That's a long time, But I said that there's no time. I'm never going to get over that. Are you kidding me? You don't. You just learn how to live with it. You live with the pain and you keep going. You do it. That's all you can do. So, yeah, sorry to get a little grim at the end there, but yeah, this is me. I love to do things. I like to go out and see nature and stuff, and travel with my dog. Um, so yeah, we'll be going out, and I'll be showing lots of videos of me doing that, and maybe working out. Let me know what anyone wants to see. I saw there's a few views the last video I had, which surprised me. It's been less than a day. So yeah, let me know what anyone wants to talk about. I like to talk about stocks. I like video games. I'm a gamer, so let me know. I'm going to be talking about those things regardless. So even if you don't want me talking about them, sorry. Anyway, yeah. Have a good Labor Day, and yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Like, subscribe, pass the word on. Thank you.